Good morning, folks. It is currently 10 a.m. Central Standard Time in the United States on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. I hope our crew is keeping you well and safe in the world, wherever you may be. We're going to start off today looking at our sun at 193 angstroms of light. And as we can see, over the past 24 to 48 hours, there's not been a lot of activity in our sun. It's actually been relatively quiet, which is very nice to see. However, we can also take a look at our coronal hole that is turning right around to us to be facing us, giving us solar winds. And we are starting to get into that stream. I will show you guys here in a moment, but there's really nothing else going on at the moment. But it's not going to stay that way long. As I say, it's been relatively quiet. We're here at spaceweatherlive.com, and we're actually taking a look at our baseline. That's one of the things I always go by is our baseline, because that says a lot of what's going to be happening. And as you can see, we are in the low Bs, which is a very nice, comfortable place to be. Is in the Bs. When we check our KP index, we can actually see that our level for our KP index has actually gone up, and we actually got into a G1 right here. Got to KP4, and then it kind of came down into 3 and then back up. Well, that's from the arrival of the outskirts of our solar wind. And that would be from this guy right here. Right here is the coronal is from a coronal hole that was actually blowing this way. Now the winds here, you can actually see as it's turning past us. This here is the intensity of the center of that coronal hole. Now as we're watching this, and as we, excuse me, goodness gracious, silly thing. As we advance forward, we can see that the coronal hole, we can see as our we got some green here, which means we're taking on some plasma, probably right around 7 maybe, 7 to 10 centimeters cubed of plasma. And as we start getting closer, right when and this is why NOAA has a prediction of about 90 centimeters cubed. This one's going to be pretty diggum dense, which is kind of what I was saying originally from that coronal mass ejection that was directly Earth facing. Right as the intensity of the solar winds arrive is the exact time that the plasma from the coronal mass ejection merges with it, almost like it's kind of cannibalizing it, and that's when it actually begins to hit us at 7 a.m. on the 14th. So tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. UTC time, we're going to start taking that plasma on, and it will peak at 11 a.m. UTC time. So if you happen to live in England, just know that right around lunchtime, that's when the planet's going to be in the thick of it. All right, and it will last all the way until about 8 o'clock in the evening. So that's UTC time. So definitely be prepared for that one. Make sure you guys are drinking plenty of water to try and, flush stuff out of your system, okay? Folks, after doing another little analysis of this here, I'm really watching this and I'm kind of not liking it. I'm going to be honest with you. Not just because of 90 centimeters cubed, which is higher than anything I ever remember us like hammering out with. When you look at and consider the fact that just last week we got hit with a G3 storm, right? Geomagnetic storm level 3, and they weren't expecting it. They were expecting it maybe to be a 1 because our north and south poles are on the move, and our geomagnetic field, or shields, if you will, is weakening. It's weaker. So when you consider that the winds are about to pop in from that coronal hole, and then this thing's going to come in. It's almost like a quick hard jab, and then almost like we're getting a power punch. Not just the winds in density from the coronal hole, but also from the coronal mass ejection. So you're getting that. I think it's going to be like a power punch. There could be some power outages. We could be looking at a G3 to a G4. In my opinion, I think that just from learning from the last one, how that one kind of snuck up and made everybody go whoa. But yet I've watched I do watch other channels, and nobody has mentioned that. No one's mentioning that, hey, these solar winds, look what happened last time. No one's mentioning that. Now stereo A out ahead of us, we're getting some pretty hard winds. This is our velocity right down here. And this is where it's showing Earth to be. That it's kind of funny. They're showing the winds to pop in later, but it smacks at the same time, which I don't understand how they can do that sometimes. Sometimes this is just really off. I mean, we are going to have some winds afterwards, but then when you look, it's going to go right out of it because it'll be gone. Well, it will be in the clear. So, folks, I would say try and take some precautions. Have a few days worth of food and water with this one, just in case there are some power outages and some transformers popping. I have a feeling that might happen with this. I'm not trying to spook anybody, but I mean, it never hurts to be prepared. Okay, never hurts to be prepared. Now, you remember me telling you just a minute ago that the sun isn't going to be quiet for long? Well, let me show you this. This is on the 11th. We're over here at Seeds Near Real Time, and as we can see, this is the eruption and the coronal mass ejection that is coming our direction. But does anybody happen to notice something in here a little strange? What is this? This is Mercury, by the way. It's about the same size as Mercury. Almost as bright, but it happens to be in the way of the of the plasma. But do you guys see that? You guys see it again right here? What is that? I mean, you can clearly see that is a body, a round planetary type body, and it is getting shot and literally launched from the sun's surface. Like, get out of here, dude. Like the sun got pissed and was like, did a little kung fu fighting ninja chop. Hiya! Get out of here, and off he goes. And you can see it in both on the in the reverse ink filter, and then you can also see it in the red. So that's what's got me. That's very intriguing of me. But here's the other thing, folks. Check this out. Watch the back side of the sun over here. About to see something go wha-boom. Look at that. That is from 2975. It's still alive on the back side of the sun, and it is very present. In fact, let's check the next day and see if they even give us the end. Oh, they don't. They actually started up way past those. Look at this. They started up at 4:23. This is the remnants of it. So after it's already pretty much gone, and then you got, ooh, hello friends. We got some friends over here. So yeah, 29.7. Oh, got some more friends. 2975 is still alive, and we are going to see it again. It's going to come right back around to us. Boy, we got some friends all over the place. Now keep in mind, this is Mercury. Now it's in the way of that plasma. You can see the plasma moving around it. Look at that. That's pretty nuts. So yeah, stay safe out there, folks. Out of curiosity's sake, I went ahead and I took a peek at Mercury. I was looking for Mercury. You know how we saw it getting in the way of that plasma with that little eruption? It looked, well, right here, somebody actually took a photo of it, believe it or not, and it actually looks like it has a tail from all that plasma when it hit the surface of Mercury, and it's actually giving it like a little tail glow, which I just thought was pretty cool. As far as near-Earth objects of asteroids or meteors, if you will, it's looking like on the 13th we've got just 2 of them that are going to be kind of close calls. The only one that's really got me mostly concerned would be this guy right here. This is 2022 GS3. It is 51 meters. If that enters the atmosphere, we're going to have a problem. However, it's going to be 2.8 times the distance away from Earth as it is between us and the moon. That's what a lunar distance is. It's the distance between us and the moon. So it's going to be 2.9 times that. So we should be okay with that. That's a pretty decent distance away. Or excuse me, 2.8 rather. Excuse me, 2.8. So that's a good distance, and it's moving relatively slow. And that's the other thing, the speed. If that thing's hauling buns, that's another thing to pay attention to. The faster it is, and the bigger it is, of course, obviously, the more damage that it's going to do. But speaking of meteors, for those of you who are sky watchers, Lyrid meteor shower of this year comes on April 20. Well, it actually starts and begins on the 16th of April and goes to the 25th of April, and it will peak on the 22nd. So, if you like to watch meteors, by all means, this is a great time to do it. All right. The Lyrids, they've been observed. The Lyrid meteor shower has been observed for 2,700 years. First recorded sighting of a Lyrid meteor shower goes back to 687 BC by the Chinese, believe it or not, of all places, right? The Lyrids are known for their fast and bright meteors, so this is going to be a great time to get out. Okay. The Lyrids are known, though not as fast or as plentiful as the famous Perseids in August, Lyrids can surprise watchers with as many as 100 meteors seen per hour. Sightings of these heavier showers occurred in 1803 in Virginia, however, and in Greece in 1902, in Japan in 1945, and in 1982 was in the U.S. In general, 15 to 20 Lyrid meteors can be seen per hour during their peak. Lyrids frequently leave glowing dust trains behind them as they streak through the Earth's atmosphere. These trains can be observable for several seconds. The pieces of space debris that interact with our atmosphere to create the Lyrids originate from comet C-1861 G1 Thatcher. Comet Thatcher was discovered on April 5th, 1861 by A.E. Thatcher. Viewing tips: the Lyrids are best viewed in the northern hemisphere during the dark hours, after moonset and before dawn. Obviously you don't want all the ambient light, right? Find an area well away from the city. You want to get away from as much any kind of lights as possible. Any kind of go out into a field, out to farming country if you can, and be prepared with a sleeping bag if you want to really make a go of it, or a blanket or a chair or something like that to lay flat on your back and to really watch them. If you really are interested, you can also take a camera and have it on slow exposure, so that way you can actually have some. You might get 5 or 6 in your view if you have a nice wide panoramic view, and then you slow the speed down. You could really get some fantastic photos. I mean, just like these individuals are here. They set it up, put panorama in, and did a slow exposure, and they got all of these in one shot. So if this is something you're interested in, oh, look at this beautiful thing. This is something I definitely recommend. And look at this here, the Milky Way. Oh man, this would be a beautiful place to be to come watch meteors or something. So keep your eyes open, folks. No fear. And remember that love is the only way forward. Solar Wolf out.